Let's talk about how you can find sheet music on the internet, mostly for free. First of all, I'm working on a website, lapladaband.com, and I'll upload music to it whenever I can, but currently I only have this one song for bass guitar. So let's talk about 6 other places that you could look for music. Most of these sites are free, but several of them have extra subscription plans. When I talk about those plans and what they cost, it's only so you can know what you would get if you paid for them. My advice is that you should take full advantage of what's freely available. First up is MuseScore. MuseScore started as a computer program for writing out music. This would download the program. A community of users grew around that program, and now some of them upload sheet music to the website. The sheet music and the program are related. The sheet music is written in the program, but they're separate enough that you don't need them both. You can look at one without the other, which is what we're going to do today. We're going to look through the saxophone music without having the program. Because volunteers upload the music, the quality can be a little bit mixed sometimes. This one is pretty good. First glance, it's kind of weird to have just 4 measures here stretched out, and some of these lines have 5 or 6 measures all crunched together. There's a couple of breaks across ties. It would be easy to put the line break here, so this tie wasn't across the line break. It'd be nice to maybe get a sense of where the different sections of the song are. I think there's a section right here, so maybe a double bar line or a rehearsal mark or something. And because this is kind of like a jazz lead sheet, it would be nice to have chord symbols up above each measure. But overall, this is good. I'm just being really picky about small details that could polish this up, make this a little more professional looking. Because volunteers upload these files, there is a very good variety. Up at the top here, we've got some Russian stuff, I guess. Many pages. Here's one called Corona Times. So organization is not the best. This is all saxophone, but it's all just lumped together. We can also search. The search works pretty well. I've been thinking a lot about a song lately called St. James Infirmary Blues. And we can filter for the number of instruments we want or for the instruments we want. So now I found a solo clarinet version. These chord changes are what I was talking about earlier. We can listen to it. It's given us a very robotic kind of interpretation because it's a computer, but it does a good job of conveying roughly what the song should sound like. So we can look at music for free. We can hear it played by a computer for free. If we want to print or download, then we need to sign in and get a subscription. A subscription costs $30 for a year, which is a little expensive in my opinion, but you can start a 30-day free trial and decide for yourself. Next, we'll look at a site called 8 Notes. 8 Notes is a site made by David Bruce, who's a composer from the UK. He also has a YouTube channel, by the way, which is a really great channel. He talks about being a composer and music in general. So all the music on 8 Notes is either arranged by him or by freelancers that he hired. In comparison to MuseScore, the number of songs on the site is a bit lower, but the quality is much more consistent and it's organized better. I'm going to keep looking at saxophone music. And now we can pick by subcategory what kind of music we want to look at. Let's look at what's most popular. The top of the list is one called Cool Blues, which is marked as easy, and it's by David Bruce. Let's check it out. So we've got a saxophone and piano part here. This looks interesting. It's improvisation, so for this section you make it up based on these notes. That is pretty cool. All right, let's hear it. There's also a piano-only version, a band version, and a slow version. Having those options is a really great feature. You might see there's a limit to the number of free plays that you have in a day. If you think you're going to listen to one a lot, you can download it. You can also print music for free, but only one page at a time. A subscription gives you unlimited plays, lets you print in better quality, and lets you download a PDF. It's $20 per year, which, considering all you get for it, I think is a pretty decent deal. If you were going to spend money on any one thing in this video, this is probably what I'd recommend. But even without a subscription, there's a lot of free material on the site. Very handy resource. Next up is Music Notes. Now, Music Notes is mostly pay only. They sell individual arrangements for you to print. Many semi-professional or part-time arrangers upload their work to the site. For instance, I really like the arrangements of Jacob Collar. They're very imaginative but still precise, and he plays them. The downside is they're very challenging, a bit harder than my piano skills. So we can browse also for easy piano. The great thing about Music Notes is the selection of music. There's a lot of modern and popular music. We have some Star Wars, Lindsey Stirling, Demi Lovato, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry. We have some classics too, like the Beatles and Beethoven. The cost per song varies from about $3 to $10 based on the length, the complexity, what kind of royalties are involved. There is a subscription that will let you save money on each purchase and also lets you download PDFs, but it's really only worth it once you plan to buy about 6 or more songs. Now, currently, there's a special offer for some free sheet music where you can download any of these for free. I want to look at a trombone piece. Oh, here's Flight of the Bumblebee. That'll keep you busy. The next site we'll look at is J.W. Pepper. J.W. Pepper is one of the largest and oldest music sellers in the world. They're still a very traditional print media sort of company, so they have massive warehouses where they physically stock and ship paper music made by big publishing companies. You probably won't find free sheet music here, but you can find free recordings. These recordings are to help advertise the music and to make it easier for directors to pick which songs they want to order. In our conference band, we recently played Hopak by William Owens. Here's our listening preview. It seems to be a problem. We can also view it. Usually that plays also. Yep, there we go. And we can also look at the score. It's for this ability to find recordings that I'm including Pepper on this list. Any list of music on the internet would be incomplete without the IMSLP. Notice the .org. International Music Score Library Project is an effort to collect high-quality scans of music in the public domain. Usually works into the public domain after their copyright has expired. In the United States, all music, art, and literature from 1923 and before is in the public domain. Occasionally, a composer will offer their work into the public domain before then. Once a work is in the public domain, anyone is allowed to do anything with it. Because international copyright is complicated, there are some edge cases where pieces are in the European public domain, but not in the United States. For example, Mikrokosmos is a wonderful collection of easy piano music by Bartók. It was published 80 years ago and is now public domain in Europe and in Canada, but is still protected by copyright law in the United States. If we look at these files, we can see they're clearly marked non-PDUS, so it would be technically illegal for me to download these files. I'll look instead for a different collection of piano music, the Notebook for Anna Magdalena Bach. This book has been republished many times. This particular one is non-PD in the US, so we'll just have to pick from one of these many others. You might see this disclaimer. It looks a little frightening, but it's okay to accept. It's only here because IMSLP is hosted in Canada, so visitors to the site have to agree to follow the copyright laws of their own local country. And here's the music. The main drawback to the IMSLP is that most of the music is from before 1923. So if you're looking for anything new, this is a bad choice. The legacy of music, though, is hundreds of years old, and there's plenty of really beautiful gems on here. Here, for instance, is a scan of the original notebook for Anna Magdalena Bach. Oh, you can see here that you can get a subscription. It would speed this up a little bit, but really the only reason to get one is to help keep the site running. This is a pretty big file. All right, this is the original. And that is the handwriting of Johann Sebastian Bach. The ink has run a little bit over the 300 years it's existed, but you can clearly see and imagine him writing each individual line with a quill pen. It's kind of funny to see how they would curl their beams in the past. The last site we'll look at is the cpdl.org. Again, a .org. This is the choir public domain library. Its goals are really similar to the IMSLP, but its focus is on choir music. We can easily find vocal solos by clicking on music scores, then voicing, solo vocal music, and I'm going to look at tenor music. Here's one called I Know Where I'm Going. Isn't that a nice idea? Clicking this will lead to the PDF. And clicking on this will play it, but it's a MIDI file actually, so you'll need some kind of program to play it. Windows Media Player will do just fine. Again, a robot. You can also search for music. A while ago in choir, we were talking about different Ave Marias. There are so many Ave Marias that it has its own kind of mini article and list of all these different settings of Ave Maria. I'll use Control F just to search on this page. One version we talked about was the Genau, and we compared that to the Schubert version. You can download one for 3-part choir. I want just a soloist. This will link us to an external site, but let's see if that has it. Yeah, here it is. And here is the Schubert version in the original German. And here it is in the better known Latin. So if any of these sites looked interesting, I encourage you to use them. Also, if you're one of my students, please fill out the short post-lesson form. I've left links to everything in the description below this video. Thanks for watching.